Just look at my boobies, Jack.
Look at the hole, Jack. Look at it.
Look, the border's wide open, Jack. Anybody can come in.
I just love the fact that I forget technically where it is. Is it in San Diego where it ends at the ocean?
Who?
The border wall. Like it literally just ends at this pocket of ocean. And it's like you could literally just walk around it. I guess maybe not at high tide.
I do not know. We're live, by the way.
I figured. Hello. Bienvenidos.
Vaya con Dios.
It's going to be one of those podcasts.
It reminds me of King of the Hill.
It reminds me of
Vaya
who I really am. This is how you remind me.
Fucking quarterback.
It's not like you to say sorry. I was waiting on a different story, but no. Same old shit, different day. Like
Yeah, and this tastes like shit, Circle K. It's so watered down, and I didn't even put ice in it because they didn't have any ice.
So, before we get rolling on this, I want to tell you about tonight's sponsor, because it's a special one.
Mom spaghetti.
Nope. Extreme Knockout Fight Night.
Before we get all into this, I think I need to double check. I didn't.
Double check what?
Audio. Roll. I mean, they would hear us from one of our mics.
Yeah, but it would sound like in the distance.
Nope.
They think Joe Biden was.
We're good.
We're good.
We're good.
But yes.
Oh,
Brought to you
fellers.
by Extreme. I almost laughed.
Oh, calm down, Krusty.
Extreme Knockout Fight Night. Our good friend Sosa is fighting.
See, she did it again.
Oh, there's an eyeball in there.
Bitch.
You ever use it for?
No.
No.
And isn't it on camera that I scared you?
Yeah, glory hole.
Anyway, Sosa's fighting an XKO on May 26th, and he has requested, and we will oblige, that we'll do the podcast that Friday. He wants us to live react to the pay-per-view.
Oh, dude. Down.
I'm in. Yep. And I kept asking him, I'm like, can we do that? He's like, yeah, bro. So, yes. So that is
Shout out Sosa.
Friday, May 26th. Our friend Sosa will be fighting on that card, and we will be live streaming reactions to that fight. It's going to be great. Sosa is actually a tremendous competitive Muay Thai fighter. Tough as nails. I've watched a couple of his fights, and all I'm saying is you don't fuck with a dude who gets punched square in the face and laughs. You don't fuck with that guy.
Exactly.
But exactly. But speaking of tonight, a new title is on the line tonight, except we already know what's going to happen with it. Man, I'm on a roll with these segues.
Title 42. Sets
It's
to
gone.
expire tonight at 11:59.
But fear not, xenophobes, because the Biden administration is going to revive what Politico calls a Trump-esque asylum policy. Without going into the nitty-gritty details, you can find the article on Politico, because apparently when I read articles verbatim, you people find it boring. Except for when I read the, I almost said don't say gay, the Restrict Act. That got way more views than I thought it would. Oh, let's see, babies. So basically, this rule will bar some migrants from applying for asylum into the United States if they cross the border illegally or fail to first apply for safe harbor in another country. So basically, everything that Trump got shit on while he was president, the Biden administration is going to bring back.
It's the exact same.
Now, they say it's going to be different, but they don't go into how.
They say she's the same, but she's not the same.
So, yeah. Immigration. The really sad part of all this is that it's actually, I'm not going to say it's easy to solve because it would be very difficult, but it's not complicated. Essentially, I've proposed this before. I think on this podcast, but I'll propose it again because it's our show and I'll do what the fuck I'll do what I want. I think to actually solve the crisis at the southern border, because it is a crisis, I don't care what anybody says, it's a crisis, there has to be some give and take. So I think, actually I did talk about this, we had the commenter whose name I cannot remember, apologize, I'm terrible with names, but he asked about this, and basically it's give the left a little, give the right a little. I think you fully fund and finish a complete border wall and up border security. You can you can allow. I think the states already allow this, but if they don't, I would change it if I were able with the stroke of a pen. States can add to the border patrol in their state on top of the federal agents. So if Texas wants to throw more border patrol, they can have Texas border patrol agents working with the those federales. But in exchange, people, including DACA recipients, which I'll touch on DACA a little bit later because that bullshit, not for the reason you think. So people that are in this country now currently without a criminal record, either prior or during their being in the United States, are granted amnesty and started on a path to citizenship. To me, it's not super complicated. But in addition to that border wall being complete, it is now, I don't want to say more difficult, but it's stricter. The guidelines are stricter to get into the country.
Well, do you know what would aid all that? More judges.
That would be part of increasing the border wall and security and all that.
I mean, it's easy. More judges, it goes quicker.
Well, and it's not only that. So here's the thing. Part of the problem is the fact that it takes such a long time.
Because they have a limited amount of judges.
A
lot of Republicans in office were talking about that.
A lot of these places shouldn't even need a judge, though. That's what I'm saying. Because, I just frankly think that if you come to the border and say, I would like to enter the United States, they ask you why. I want to work for a while and then go home. I want to do this, that, the other. I want to move here permanently with my family. I'm seeking asylum, whatever your reasons. Then they direct you to where you need to go and what you need to do in order to make that happen. If you want to have a temporary work visa, that's pretty fucking straightforward, especially because you have some people who do that multiple times a year. There's a lot of, apparently there's a lot of migrant labor in agriculture that do that. They'll come up for the season. Now, right now, they're doing it illegally, but could you imagine how much better it would be if they could just show up and be like, yes, here's my documentation. As you can see, I've come to the country several times at the same time each year. You don't really need to do much more than that. Background check, obviously, and then if just like getting a gun, if your background check comes clean, then no problem. But if something comes, it's okay, well, you can either wait in your country of origin or we can put you in a holding cell. I don't know, while we clear all this up. It's your choice.
Unless you become a man without a country stuck in a terminal.
Well... I hated that movie so much.
I've never seen it.
It's not good. He's talking about The Terminal with Tom Hanks, by the way.
The country's gone? It's what happened? Did it get bombed?
No, it got taken over, so his passport wasn't valid anymore.
Uh-oh.
Grakosian.
Didn't even mean to say that.
Which here's what I understand. That's the definition of political asylum. I was on a flight and my country got ousted in a coup.
Yeah, that's an easy yes sir. Yeah. You can have a membership to the greatest country on the planet.
Yeah, he was in the United States, wasn't he? That's textbook asylum. I fail to see, or even a temporary visa. That's not difficult to do. I didn't understand the point of that.
Well, maybe he was on one of the countries blacklisted from Title 42.
But then why was he allowed to travel? He was already in the United States. At an airport,
I know, but he wasn't allowed to go anywhere. He was
I know, he couldn't leave the airport.
But it's unless he was in custody, he's just at the airport. What are you gonna do? Make him live there?
Apparently.
It's okay. Well, give me a bed, need a shower, and give me some of those chicken tenders.
Give me some of them airport. They gave him a bunch of vouchers to start with.
Dude, in Atlanta, when we had a layover there, and they had the best Strombolis ever. An actual Stromboli.
I don't know about that. I just hate the Atlanta airport with a passion.
It was terrible.
Oh, it's awful.
It was horrible.
There is a gem at the, if you ever find yourself in the, it's in Tennessee. Starts with an M. It'll come to me later.
Montana.
Montana, Tennessee.
Can you imagine somebody names
Damn
a
it,
town
I
after-
know this because it's a major shipping hub. It's not Nashville, though. It's
Oh, I thought you said M. Is it M?
M. Starts with an M.
Oh.
M is in man. It's ma'am. It'll come to me. But anyway, it's not just in the airport, but that's where I found it. Backyard Burger. Surprisingly good. A gem of a burger. Really, it literally tastes like they grilled it like on a charcoal grill right there, which I think they do. But Memphis.
I love burgers.
Memphis, Tennessee. It's good shit.
I had the best wings in my entire life in Georgia. You hear that?
Yes, I did.
I ain't saying, did you smell that?
I lost my train of thought.
He lost his train of thought out of his ass.
Yep. Shot it right out my butthole.
Yeah. In the form of gas. Gases.
Which is one of 3 states of matter if you do not include the super solid.
Eat your fiber, kids. Or you'll turn
Actually, I
into
learned
that.
from an infomercial that fiber doesn't make you go, it just makes it fuller and harder.
It depends on what type of fiber you're taking.
What kind of fiber should I take, Eric?
Psyllium husk.
I didn't think you were going to answer that.
Because it's a natural laxative, but not in the way you would think a laxative works. It gels in your intestines and it grabs everything on its way down and out. Yes. It's disgusting, but it does do the job done.
Very smooth.
You'll wipe less.
It
Thank me
perform-
later.
It performs better than you could imagine.
Imagine. So,
What the fuck was I talking about? Immigration.
Title 42. Basically, I think we should probably explain what Title 42 is.
It is the 42nd title.
It was created in, I believe, 1893 or 18 something like that. And basically, it allowed the president to, during pandemic or a global crisis, to shut off immigration from certain countries. It is to the discretion of the president. And supposedly, Trump did that. Well, actually, no, he did. He did
Title-
not. Did he?
ti-
He
title-
didn't invoke Title 42, did he?
Who, Trump?
I don't think he did.
No,
I
I think he did.
because he said no travel from.
Yeah, he did. But, okay, so Title 42 expulsions are removals by the U.S. government of persons who have recently been in a country where a communicable disease was present. Trump administration used a provision, Section 265, to generally block land entry for many migrants. Now, when Trump did it, it was racist. When Biden did it, it was necessary.
Patriotic.
Well, it was necessary for the public good. And this has been a major theme of the Biden administration, if you can read or look around ever. Because Biden perpetuated many of the same policies that the Trump administration did, and yet it's hilarious how the script was flipped.
Yeah,
For the same
kind of like
things.
what was it? Insulin.
Well, yeah, they're
that was just hysterical. They literally copied the same thing. They killed Trump's and then they copied it and then they pasted it.
Now listen, am I saying that Trump was right on everything? No. But if you're gonna shit on something when one person does it and then somebody who's on your team turns around and does the exact same fucking thing, shit on that too. That's all I'm saying.
It's bullshit, 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 John.
Tell me how you really feel, Cotton.
Like downy sheets.
Downey's soft.
Oh, people.
But then the immigration conversation always kind of leaves out the elephant in the room, and I don't mean that as a reference to Republicans. I mean it as the expression, although I'd say this, I was going to say this probably applies to more Republicans than Democrats, but I don't know. I think a lot of the immigration issues do not, I shouldn't say a lot, there are definitely people in the immigration debate in and out of the government that I think are genuinely racist people. Like, you'd be lying if you said that racism wasn't at least a part of the immigration debate. Like, you'd just be lying.
His nephew's super racist.
He's such a racist. We're the only ones laughing because we're the only ones who get the joke.
So now you can clip that and just send it to him.
I'm gonna do that. Listen, he's just a tremendous racist.
But okay, so the biggest thing with Title 42 right now is not that it's ending. There's a caravan of, I think they're estimating like 500,000 people waiting at the border until that expires. And I believe they're from certain countries that are banned. Or actually, no. Basically what it's lifting is the COVID restrictions.
Yes.
So, yeah, I misspoke. Anyway, I corrected myself.
Yeah, but that's not surprising, though.
But still, 500,000 people coming to a port of entry. I don't know if they're all going to the port of entry. So you got to think some of them are going to go to the port of entry.
Well, I think the mass that is there because of Title 42 ending would be coming to a port of entry. Because if you're entering illegally, who cares about Title 42?
Yeah, but you're going to be stuck in those freaking camps for a while, camping out. Not a good time.
Well, but then you have Florida, which I don't live in Florida, so I can't speak to this. But I have seen a bunch of videos going around about Florida just passed some pretty strict immigration laws, and there's been a bunch of videos going around that were like, you know, harvesting fields before and then after with all the white people doing the labor and roofing before and after. And I mean, I think Florida will see some negative consequences.
Yeah, but those people, like, they'll get better at their jobs.
I don't know about that.
That's the problem is, like, they haven't had to work as hard.
Well, it's something I've found, and I'm not saying this is because, lest I be racist, I'm not saying, like, this isn't exclusive to white people.
Yeah, you don't want to sound like Kelly Osbourne. When she said, "Who's going to clean your bathrooms, Donald Trump?"
Oh, my God.
And I was like, oh, okay.
No, there was somebody else on The View that said that, too.
Kelly Osbourne.
No, somebody else. I know what you're talking about.
Oh.
Somebody else said it, too. And they were, like, even, I think it was Joy Behar. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
Probably.
But something just so completely, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I think Republicans get called racist all the time, but there's a lot of Democrats that I think are, like, they don't believe they're racist. But they're, like, in the dark racists.
If you don't vote for me, you're not a certain color.
Well, there is that.
I'd say that's pretty damn racist to me.
Oh, that's extremely racist.
But you guys on that blue side, and I'm not saying there's not problems on that red side.
But I will give credit where credit. At least most of the racists that are on the red side unclaimed for the most part, but they are there. At least they're overt about it. Like, they don't pretend to not be.
Yeah, you don't have to guess.
So you know to stay away from them.
Was it you that told me about AOC partnering with someone to get Congress to not be allowed to trade stocks?
Yes.
Okay.
And she, who's the Republican?
It wasn't Dan Crenshaw, was it?
No. It was a guy you like, actually.
Was it Hawley?
Maybe. Hang on.
Senator Hawley, Josh Hawley?
I can look, but that sounds right.
I'll say he's pretty freaking awesome.
It was like I never thought I would agree with AOC on something, but here we go. Oh, that's the sealed sneeze one I sent you.
I'm starting to think that she's just dumb and she has no agenda. She's literally just clueless. I'm gonna say she's dumb. That's.
I will.
She has bad opinions.
I'll say it.
Some people have them.
She dumb. Well, you know what? Actually, Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
I forgot you sent that to me.
What was it? Oh my gosh. Forgot about that. Hey, thanks for accepting my friend request. So what's up?
Well, now I can't see where I sent it to you, so.
I don't like these chairs.
I think it was Holly. Senor Holly.
Senor Rita Holly Wood. This one is going nowhere fast. There wasn't really much to talk about with Title 42, so we were just going to bullshit for a little bit.
I really wish my racist nephew were here.
Bradley.
Don't out him. Oh, you already did?
Yeah, but his last name ain't. Oh, yeah, it is.
No.
It's not. You don't have to say his last name.
No. Ha-ha!
Ha-ha!
Take that, social justice warriors. He's not actually racist.
Look at my boobies, Jack.
I don't even remember how that started. No, I do.
The sound of music. Look at the boobies, Jack.
The mountains look like boobies.
Oh,
But I was talking about racism. So, I don't think you would see as much people complaining, though, if there was like a sudden immigration influx from Canada, for example. I really don't.
blame Canada.
I mean, I would say that just because I love the joke.
Blame Canada.
Although somebody did try to, this has been years ago, but somebody did try to say that there were more illegal immigrants from Canada than Mexico, and I'm just like, that's just not true. That can't be true.
They are not coming from there unless they need life-saving treatments, and they have to wait 6 to 8 months in Canada because that's how it works. Not for everybody.
No, not for the elites, I assure you.
No, Trudeau does not wait.
Trudeau doesn't wait on fuck all, I guarantee you that. And that is the bulk of my problem with socialized medicine or public, I shouldn't say, any sort of publicly funded and operated medicine. Because I guarantee you, Justin Trudeau don't wait to get a Z-Pack, much less surgery.
If you want decent things and you want things quickly and you want them made properly and this and that, unfortunately, privatize is the way to go. Like when it goes public, or what would you call it, socialized, it's they go to trash because people don't care because they're
lack of competition,
forced to do something.
Well,
and
it's
competition.
not even that. There's no incentive to do better, to be more efficient.
Well, yeah, because if a doctor only makes $50,000 a year because of all the taxes that have to be taken in to afford everybody's stuff, and that doctor's not being paid well, he's going to be like, why am I a doctor for pennies?
Now, you might find some that are truly altruistic, but as I discussed this with Toast, and he agreed to a point, it's like, you're going to find some people that just genuinely want to help people.
Yeah, like Dr. Giggles. He just wanted to help people.
Yeah, but a much more efficient way to guarantee good service is to reward good service with high pay.
A smile.
Kind of like, I wonder if you could expedite the immigration. Could you? Okay, we're going to put on our thinking caps real quick. What ways, let's spitball here, what ways could we expedite?
Let's piss some people off.
What ways could we expedite the immigration process?
I look like a redneck.
A little bit, yeah. Freedom, bro.
It's like you go from
can I see one thing?
you go from a MAGA bro to a set up the keg, bro. Is it made in USA?
That's what I'm trying to find.
China.
It don't have no tag. Ain't got no tag in it. I don't know.
Most of the hats that Trump had made were
Came from
made in
China.
America, but the knockoff ones were not. Supposedly, that's what I heard.
I heard the opposite, but who knows?
I don't really care.
Which we can touch on that because, but before that one. So let's spitball here. What are some ways that?
This one's definitely made in China.
Yeah, because it's the shits. What are some ways the private sector could expedite the immigration process?
Private sector.
So I'm spitballing here. So one of the things I proposed years ago, and I actually wrote, I believe it was one of our senators and one of our congressmen years ago, is I suggested that, since only certain industries really rely and need migrant labor, why not have them front the cash to get these people their work permits, and then you can deduct it from their pay over time. Now, I think a lot of these companies would probably split it with people, or they might even it might be worthwhile to them to just pay it up front and then get their migrant labor in. I don't know what those numbers are, but I would have to see that it might be more than fair for the company to be like, yeah, we'll front, I'm spitballing like $500, be like, yeah, we'll shell out $500 to get the paperwork started, get this guy their work permit, get this guy or girl his or her work permit.
Well, if you privatize it, that would mean that businesses would have to compete for government money because while it's privatized, it still will be subsidized. So therefore, like taxes will take care of it, but if you put it to the private sector to get it done, obviously they have government contracts. But so those people that are privatized, they're going to give out plans, and if anyone has a good plan, obviously they're going to win the contract, and that would probably expedite many things quicker than people who just really don't care.
Well, okay, so we're talking about two different things, but you're right. I get what you're saying. But this isn't really privatizing, but it is putting more. It's putting more of the burden up because basically the companies that want to hire the migrant workers are the ones that are going to pay instead of the taxpayer paying for all that paperwork to get done.
And all the catch and release and catch and release and catch and release, all that money spent on that will have been diverted to actually pay for some of these systems, and then the taxes collected from these workers coming in is going to outweigh that. As of right now, it's a mess.
You could set it up to where it would be a net positive, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
And it wouldn't be hard. You just got to have some freaking brains.
And if you've got more people paying into Social Security, it can help solve the Social Security crisis that you've created by being stupid.
That you did create.
Oh, no, they created it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And part of it is...
whether you did it on purpose or not.
Well, there's a lot of factors. One of the biggest ones is that the baby boomers outnumber the younger generations that are working to pay into their Social Security. So, but again, one of the ways you help solve that is you get more people working. You know what I mean? Know what I'm saying,
No, never mind. No
hey,
doubt.
what's wrong with Social Security? Ain't got no money in it.
Ain't got no gas. Ain't got no money to get gas.
So what else? There's other ways. There's got to be other ways. The private sector can do this more efficiently.
Well, the private sector could finish some of the gaps in the walls.
Well, I think that would go without saying.
Everything would go.
They would be contracted.
And then on top of that, you could have. I'm not going to say paralegals. I don't know who you'd have like trying to expedite more people's paperworks to get them in front of more judges quicker.
You know what?
With that,
there's a lot of attorneys that already. I don't know if you have to. It might vary by state, actually. Like, there's a lot of attorneys that do public defending, just in pro bono cases and stuff like that. But what if you have an office of, like, you have public defenders, right? But you could also have people that do that for immigration courts. Because, like, a lot of these people can't afford an immigration attorney. And there's a lot of places that do stuff like that pro bono.
Well, a lot of those pro bono guys, though, they do get paid. They get paid by the court.
No, that's public defender. Pro bono is free.
You're correct.
I know what you're saying.
I got backwards on that. Yeah. That was my bad.
Now, sometimes they do pro bono up front, and then if they win, then they get paid. But I think there's a different term for that.
Yeah.
It's the whole, like, we don't get paid until you do sort of thing.
Deferred.
Sorry.
You all right?
No.
What'd you eat today? Oh, my gosh. Sounds like he's moving a freaking lawn chair on concrete.
No, wow, that was a very vivid and accurate description.
One of the old ones from like the 70s and 80s that we had growing up well into the early 2000s because parents held on to things. But I'll tell you what, all that stuff built then lasts a hell of a longer than it does now.
Yeah.
My gosh. You can't even buy a chair without it blowing out on you after like 30,000 miles.
No, 30,000 miles on a chair.
Hey, man. When you're sitting there, that's how it adds up. Time and pressure. Time and pressure. That's all Andy Dufresne needed.
Oh, fuck me. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to bitch about DACA for a second. So when DACA happened, I actually had a lot of fun with this because...
DACA.
DACA. I had a lot of fun with it because I got to piss off both sides, like I'm prone to do and enjoy doing. So here's my bit with DACA. I would piss off both sides depending upon where they fell in the aisle because they'd get pissed off at the beginning or they'd get pissed off at the end. So people would be like, what do you think about DACA? And I would look at them dead in the eye and say, I think it's fucking bullshit. And then they would say, why do you think it's bullshit? And usually lefties would be like, it's not bullshit. It's something, no. It's not doing enough. Deferred action. It's in the name. It's the legal definition of kicking the can down the road.
And it wasn't a legal option. It was an executive order.
Though there's that too.
So,
but again, that's the epitome of what I always say. They don't actually want to solve the issue.
No, because
DACA was literally just the Obama administration grabbing the Latino, or trying to grab the Latino vote.
And Donald Trump, while he was in office, tried to get them to repeal it and replace it. He said he wanted something.
Now,
He said that he didn't want an executive order running such a operation like that.
Correct. And
so.
I understand. I think I understand what Trump was trying to do there. And I understand and applaud what he was trying to do, but that's not how I would have done it, because the way he did it scared people, because he was trying to get rid of DACA to pressure them into doing something legislatively.
Well, the best motivation to get someone to do something.
Right, but again, I'm
away.
not a fan of the government playing with people's lives, because DACA recipients are the definition of the people that need the most help. Because I'm sorry, if you're brought to a country when you're 3 years old,
Oh, absolutely,
and you don't know anything else, like, I've heard of people who got deported back to their country of origin, in quotes, and they've never fucking been there. Like, the lucky ones have relatives there, but what if you don't have relatives? Like, what are you supposed to fucking do? And then maybe you're like a no sabo kid, which is a Hispanic kid who doesn't speak Spanish. And you have to, which I find that unlikely if you were brought here as a child, but it might happen. I don't know. You know, what are you supposed to do if you don't speak Spanish? Like, yeah, you'll eventually learn, but in the immediate, you're kind of fucked. So,
I'm going to move to Japan and teach people English.
I've never understood how the fuck they can do that. It's like, I don't speak Japanese, but I'm going to teach you English.
It's so much easier. You got to think of it this way, man. That's like brilliant, because anyone doing that's not working hard, because they're just using what they use every day to teach someone else, and then they're making a living off of it, and they're creating more English speakers where they're at so they can talk to someone.
I've thought about doing that so many times.
Dude, like this one guy on YouTube, I think it's Max the Meat Guy.
Durka.
Have you seen him?
No.
Anyway, he cooks meat and other things. Anyway, he was talking about how he survived teaching English lessons when he's never taught a day in his life, and he was in another country. I don't think it it might have been Japan, but I can't remember. But
I knew a girl once who she did a couple, I call them tours, but she did a couple of tours of teaching English in Japan, and she was like, I'm not fluent Japanese, but I know some. And then we got into a literal argument because I don't even remember how it came up, but I said I was being a smartass, and I said no in Japanese, and she's like, what did you say? I said, oh, I just said no. And she's like, that's not how you say no. And I'm like, yes, it fucking is.
how do you say no in Japanese?
It depends on the context, but just like a straight answer to a question would be EA. Except for certain
EA?
EA, yeah.
So if it's like a mean no. Yeah!
It depends on the context, because like a no, stop it, like a it just depends on the fucking context.
Yeah.
It's common to say it a different way, and I believe Osaka, and I can't remember what that way is.
Oh, there's another way to say it?
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
A lot of the Japanese language is dependent upon context and who you're talking to. But the general no, EA.
How about school chums?
Tomodachi?
Tomodachi?
That's just friend, but I don't know if there's a specific one for school friends.
Okay.
Which is hilarious. This is so stupid. I used to think Tomogachi was the
like Tamagotchi?
Yeah, but that's egg.
Tomogachi. Is that what that means?
Yeah. Tomogachi is egg. Tomodachi is friend.
Domo regato. Domo.
Domo.
Domosexual.
Robosexual. Wasn't that a Futurama episode?
Probably.
There were people that were like sexually attracted to robots. I want to say that was a Futurama episode.
That was a good show.
Dude, Futurama's the shit.
That was a
I
really
own
good show.
one. I own one episode of Futurama because I wanted to be able to watch it whenever I wanted, if it ever left like Netflix or wherever it happens to be at. It's the one where they go to the Amazon planet. The Snoo Snoo.
Yeah.
That is the funniest fucking episode. God damn it, that's so funny. And the fact that B. Arthur is the femputer, I don't know why I find that so goddamn funny.
That's how I feel with Knight Rider. The car, Kip,
Oh god.
is Mr. Feeney.
That's right, it is.
Yeah, and that dude is like, when he was very popular with around our time, like before Knight Rider, or after Knight Rider, what was it, Boy Meets World?
Yeah, Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World, but now, like, because that show was in the early 90s, into the mid 90s, and
That's another really good show.
he was old then.
Yep.
He was like 56, 57, and then now he's so old, but he still gets out. And,
He's still working,
yeah.
as far as I know.
Feeney! Feeney!
Boy Meets World was such a good show. What's wrong with TV now? It's so rare to find a show that was that's consistently good.
Like, give me shows like Fresh Prince.
Well, they remade that, right?
It's not the same.
I know it's not the same because now it's serious.
Yeah, it's super serious. It defeats the
Look, I will say
original.
because I'm not watching it regularly anymore, but I went back and started rewatching from the first season, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. When that show gets serious,
Oh, the original?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, when it gets serious, it gets
But
serious.
the reason it hits so much harder is because when you're watching a show like, and this is like, comedy used to be able to hit home often because 85% of the show is lighthearted and fun. But then when they get serious, it hits that much harder because you're like, oh, I'm supposed to be laughing. What's going on?
And they were dealing with actual real scenarios from that time era. Like,
But you
police
didn't-
brutality really, truly was at an all-time high then. Like,
Dude, and that episode, that was in the first season. You're talking about when Will and Carlton get pulled over, right?
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
a lot of
They
things.
do it more than once, but
They
like,
get pulled over, and then,
they get profiled. I shouldn't say
wasn't it
brutality.
where they drove one of Uncle Phil's friends?
associate-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like they actually dealt with real stuff, and then nowadays they're trying to make stuff up in shows and make it seem like it's really important when like probably half of America, I'm gonna say half of America is just like, that's not really an issue.
Well, that I tread lightly on that one. It depends on where you are, which I guess is what Fresh Prince was trying to.
Most
Say.
of the woke stuff that they're trying to portray, like, with like I really don't want to say it, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm not going to say any specific race, but unarmed people getting beaten by police officers. There's statistics that they run off of. They make it seem like it's a hell of a lot more than what it truly is. Because there are several prominent, I'll go ahead and say it, black conservatives who will read the statistics and data to you and say, why are we all believing what they're spewing? Just my take.
Unfortunately, stuff like that you have to take on a case-by-case basis because you have to look at
Absolutely.
you have to look at every individual scenario because there are cases where, but it's not just people in the black community.
But
it happens
it's
everywhere.
It's person by person basis.
Yeah,
it's
you
not,
have to
it's
look
not
at-
systemic.
You have to look at each individual situation because there are times where people are unjustly hurt or arrested or detained or any of that stuff. But even when people are innocent, I am always floored at how resistant people are. Like, maybe this makes me a bitch. I don't know. If a cop tells me to get on the ground with his gun drawn, I'm getting on the fucking ground. I will sort the shit out later. Like,
That's the thing. That's the thing. I understand having your pride and whatnot. I get it. But at the same time, you also have your life, and think about that first, because it's not just you. It's your family's gonna have issues with you. If you get killed, just don't do anything stupid.
well, I actually don't.
And then sue their asses in court. Make that money.
Well, that's even an extreme example. I always remind.
I'm not saying go out for it and go out and look
Yeah.
for it, but
Well, I guess a good example of that would be I can't remember his name. The shooting that just happened. Like, I watched that video. He clearly had a gun that he was drawing. The one in Chicago, I can't remember his name.
I can't remember.
They were just protesting not that long ago. Like, first of all, he was clearly running away.
A lot of these videos, like when the evidence comes out, it's just like, oh, okay, so it's justified. All right. So what are you guys still bickering about? You know, that's the problem, is people get so heated really quick.
Well,
and they don't
I guess this
weigh
is
all the
where,
facts.
and this might get me in trouble, but I think reasonable people will agree with me. If that person had been white, we would not, well, first of all, we wouldn't be having a national conversation, because everybody would have been just like, well, yeah, he had a gun. And he was pulling it out. Like, it's obvious.
Well,
Case closed.
there was a recent issue at the Greenwood Park Mall.
Oh, he got an award of some kind.
Did he?
Yeah, I can't remember what it specifically was.
You know what's funny is now Greenwood Park Mall, get this, on their billboard, it says, when you walk in, it says no firearms, a gun-free zone basically. But now they have a sign that says armed guard walking around. Well, not armed guard, I believe it's a police officer.
Well, I've seen, I don't remember exactly what it says, but it does say that there are arms.
But regardless, it just cracks me up because, like, that was not... I went there, like, a week after the shooting to get Sarku.
Well, but let's be real. That's not a normal occurrence. That was a hell of an oddity.
But the thing is, so I went there a week after to get lunch, and, I mean, it was just another day, you know?
Yeah.
You couldn't tell anything. But anyway, I read the sign as I was walking in, and I took a snapshot of it and laughed, and I said, oh, gun-free zone, huh? I said, if that guy wouldn't have had his gun on him, there'd been a lot more people dead that day.
Yep.
You know, and I'm not trying to say that the people that lost their lives, you know, weren't important, because all life is, but...
No, they absolutely were.
But...
It shouldn't have happened.
That guy,
but
young kid, he was only like 22 or something like
Yeah.
that, and he pulled it out with a quickness, and he hit him from 40 yards away with a pistol.
Which is a good shot.
Yeah. And it was just like, bam, done. Well, I think it was like 2 or 3 shots.
I want to say 3. But
Maybe
I think
even 4.
2 were fatal. Didn't he get a headshot on the guy? I can't remember.
A headshot or a heart?
I think he got head and heart, actually, but...
Yeah, so like...
I want to say it was a headshot, because I remember being like, damn, 40 yards, headshot with a pistol, that's...
And most people...
Like, it sounds easy, but I'm telling you, it's not.
No. Because you have to factor in a lot of shit.
Well, it's particularly with a handgun. Like, without any sort of, like...
Pop, 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 pop.
With a scope, a 40-yard shot isn't that hard to pull off, but with a pistol, that would be...
Guy just had a sidearm carry. He didn't have any of that shit. I know you know, but I'm saying it didn't have any of that shit on it, so he literally iron-sighted and just... Bah, 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 bah,
I
bah.
know, you know, I go psycho.
I don't really have anything else to add.
But
Do we just want to bullshit for 15 minutes?
But I want to talk about immigration.
There's nothing to talk about.
Actually, there is. This doesn't have so much to do with immigration, but I do just want to make sort of a declarative statement here.
Why do you want to come to this country? Everything's so expensive. I'm pretty sure there's probably countries that shit are cheaper right now.
Yeah, but you don't have as high quality of goods. It depends on what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, for example, actually...
They don't have the FDA that allows tons of chemicals to be put in our food and make us sick.
I will share this story, though. Mexico's pretty great in many respects. I should have done it when I was down there, but I didn't, because I'm a xenophobic American to a certain extent, but actually I just couldn't be bothered. I should have gotten an eye exam there, because I could have gotten a complete eye exam and 2 sets of lenses, and I got a quote for contacts, and it was just like, I could have gotten a year's supply of contacts for $20 American. But, and the exam and a year's worth of contacts and a pair of glasses, if I wanted it, would have cost me about just shy of $40 American.
How the hell is it so cheap?
Well, I mean, there's economic factors, and then the other thing too my girlfriend at the time got a complete medical exam with blood work for 120 pesos. I think I think it was like 180 pesos.
How much is that?
Roughly, I always do a factor of 10% because that's usually roundabout. So that's almost $20. It might have been. I might be getting those numbers confused, but it was under $100.
Damn, people are talking about going to Canada to get health care.
There's a lot of people that do go to Mexico, especially for elective health care.
Who's the guy? Johnny Bravo, not Eddie Bravo. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Hey, mama. No, Eddie Bravo on the when he's on the Joe Rogan podcast. I don't know if he was talking to Joe about it on the podcast, but I remember seeing something. I see an ad about stem cells. You go down to Mexico and they'll inject them into, like, say if you have a spot that's sore, and because stem cells produce, I mean, they don't produce, but they stimulate new tissue growth.
Right, they're basically blank slate cells.
Yeah, and I want to find out if they help, like, repair discs and necks and stuff like that.
I believe so.
Because
actually,
I swear to God, I would travel down there and
Diamond Dallas Page was talking about that. I think
he had a fucked up disc, right?
He has two herniated. No, he has two completely, like, destroyed.
See, people don't understand. You can have herniated discs or just a bulging disc and it not actually hurt at all. Basically, what it is if a nerve is touched, like just barely touched, it sends out those constant signals, and you're in constant pain.
Yeah.
Like I am with my neck. It's been really bad lately. So I'm like, if you ever see me like on the podcast and I'm like moving my neck all around, it's because, for one, I have horrible ADHD and I can't sit still, and for two, I have a fucking, I'm pretty sure it's collapsed.
Dude,
now.
I do need to get you to try DDP yoga.
I know.
It might help a little.
Well, I'm doing Amazon Flex now, and I might do a ride along. Anyone that sees this, if that sounds like something that would be, I don't know, like I'm not gonna do like I don't know, I could probably do a live and set it up.
Probably.
Actually, no, I couldn't, because that would be hard.
Yeah.
Managing the application and trying to live stream on my cell phone. But no, yeah. But anyway, the reason I said that was because I was literally 5 minutes from your house delivering the other day. And it was like, let me see, almost 5 o'clock. And I was going to be like, hey, Jake, when you get off work, man, let's go get something to eat.
You should have.
And, well, I did have to rush home. But,
Actually, last night I would have been at Krav Maga anyway.
Oh, dude, Amazon Flex is pretty dope.
Yeah, I know. I read your status on it.
It's a lot of driving, but the thing is, like, the pay per hour, decent.
Yeah.
Like, and if you can just drive, because driving's not hard.
No, driving's awesome.
But it's not like constant
podcasts
driving.
like this are your best friend if you're doing a lot of driving.
Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is, it gets real boring. And the thing is, like, I love listening to music while I'm driving. Love it.
I like
But
to
the
go
thing is,
back and forth.
sometimes, like, if I'm, like, feeling myself, like, starting to, like, doze off or, like, want to, if I'm not listening to a podcast that's making me think because it activates your brain, that's what I love. And I'll be wide awake and just listen.
I generally do either I'm very interested in it or I know I've got a very long drive. And like you said, it stimulates a different area of the brain because music you can very passively listen to.
You want to know the worst places that I can actually, like, doze off? Is driving.
I was going to say the car.
Seriously. The one place, like, I have such trouble falling asleep anywhere, including my own bed. But for some reason, when I'm driving, like, I'll crash. Like, my eyes, you know, and it's so annoying. It's only then. But it's actually really bad if I'm eating, like, a lot of candy and stuff like that and eating sugar and
Isn't that
sodas.
strange?
Because it's crashes, you know, it's insulin.
Yeah, but you would think it would be the opposite. Like, I know later you'd crash, but...
If you literally just keep eating them, you'll stay awake. But you have to keep feeding the addiction. Yeah. If not, you're going to crash. Literally.
Shit, I was going on something about Mexico. It doesn't matter, but no, they're...
It doesn't matter. Look at my boobies, Jack.
Their Coke's better.
Who?
Mexico.
I've never had a Mexican... All right, okay. Can I actually... When I go to, like, a Mexican store, is that the same Mexican Coke from down there?
Look, you should be able to see it on the bottle.
will it say Mexican
It'll
Coke?
say bottled in Mexico.
Okay, because I've been wanting to try one.
Yep.
You know, and I've heard everything down there tastes better because they use real cane sugar.
I was gonna say, actually, yeah, that's good. It was funny because when I went, everybody was worried. They were warning me, like, don't drink the water and like, don't eat too much at once, because everybody was afraid I would get sick. I didn't. I didn't drink any of the tap water or anything. It was always bottled because, like, I mean, I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
But it was funny. Everybody thought I was gonna get sick when I got down there. I felt fucking great.
Yeah.
And then when I came back,
less chemicals in food.
when I came back to the States, I was sick for 2 weeks. And everything tasted like shit.
We were actually talking about something similar on the podcast not too long ago about some woman or man, I can't remember, in Italy. They lived in America, but they weren't going to Italy, and they said they ate like a fat ass for 4 weeks straight
in Italy,
and didn't gain weight and actually lost a little bit of weight. Came back here and was strict dieting and working out, gained 5 pounds.
Yeah. It's our food, man. Like, straight up, it's our food because...
No, I can guarantee you the person did not gain 5 pounds of fat. They gained 5 pounds of water retention due to inflation or
inflammation.
Inflammation. You know, so because when you're inflamed, like your body likes to hold on to more water.
Yeah, it retains water.
You know, it's a safety. It's a safety precaution. It's like a shackle.
No, but oh my gosh,
that was a good rant.
Just, in the words of Donald Trump, I love Mexicans.
That's so funny.
I want them to come here. I want anybody to come here that wants to come here and better themselves and their family tree and better the country itself. I want you all here. Just
do it
legally.
legally.
Well, and unfortunately, in the case of Mexico,
we have work to do in order to help.
That's what I'm saying. We have to help
them.
And one of the other things we got to do is combat the misinformation that, frankly, the cartels perpetuate, because the cartels want to get paid to smuggle people over here. So they'll tell they.
You remember when the reporters actually took what Trump said, talking about coyotes?
Oh my God, that was.
It was like, is this real life? I was like, literally, they hate Trump so much that they're gonna take that.
That was the greatest week of my life, because I'm like, that's what they're called. All these liberals are like, oh, Trump thinks Wile E. Coyote's bringing kids over the border, and I'm like, you fucking idiots know. That's when I knew that a lot of Democrats are fucking ignorant racists, because like they're sitting here bitching and moaning about the border wall and all this stuff, and they don't even know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, when AOC did the photo shoot at the border and she's crying where she was at, there's actually like 0 to none problem with illegal immigration. So she went to the safest part of the border.
Yeah. She went to the place that had fences.
She's like, places where you don't get robbed and stabbed and taken away, can we go there?
Well, because who's been bitching most recently? Where did Abbott send buses to? I know DeSantis sent buses to Martha's Vineyard, but Governor Abbott in Texas sent them to...
New York?
No, I want to say Chicago.
Oh, why would they do that to Chicago? Should have sent them to New York.
Well, that's where DeSantis sent.
Did he send them to New York?
Yeah, he sent them to Martha's Vineyard.
All right. Well,
which was hilarious.
I would have sent them to L.A., but they already have a homeless problem.
Yeah, I know, that's not good.
Not good. Not good at
well,
all.
And unfortunately, it's the immigrants that are gonna suffer. But I guess the thought process was like, well, these places are saying accommodate immigrants, so send them there. And I just love how they get caught in their bullshit, and nobody takes them to task on it. AOC is a prime example. You know, it's like, oh, I'm going to cry in my perfectly curated outfit, created by a designer specifically for me for this photo shoot. And I guarantee you, if some kids had come up to her on the other side of the fence and were asking her for help, she would have been like, somebody get these brats out of my photo.
That one is convulsing from hunger. Get him out of here.
Get them out of here.
That's
Okay, listen, okay.
When she did the fake accent.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my gosh. You know what I'm talking about? I'm from the most expensive part of New York.
Not the most, but certainly one
You
of.
get 'em, good boy. What was the goat boy's name in Ed, Edd n Eddy?
Ah, damn.
Ah, yeah, you go. I can. Yeah, how you hoser?
I didn't know he was from fucking
Canada. He's a Canadian.
I was gonna say Wisconsin, but
What was his name?
oh yeah, I don't remember.
Ah, calm down now, Ed boy. I think that's about how he sounded. Yeah.
Hey,
I can't remember his name.
you want some inappropriate racial jokes?
Sure.
What do you call a pessimistic Mexican?
I don't know what.
A Mexicant.
What do you call a pessimistic American?
An Americant.
American. He's like, yeah, I crush cans. Americans. Mexicans.
Hold on, I'm trying to find. I have more.
But I couldn't catch those ones. The Nigerians.
Okay, what do you call
That was
a
bad.
Duran Duran cover band from Honduras?
I don't know what.
A Honduran Duran. Hold on, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
What do you call a Puerto Rican who goes back on his word?
What?
A Puerto Ricant.
I want to laugh.
What do you call a Dominican with his head in the garbage?
I don't know what.
A Dominican.
Oh, I actually did have something to add to this.
What does a Mexican say when he gets off the plane in Hawaii and they put flowers over his neck?
What?
Oh, lay.
All right, so just hot from the presses. Just kidding, I don't know. House passes Republican border security bill. The House has passed a GOP-backed bill to address immigration at the U.S.-Mexico border just hours before COVID restrictions at the border are to be lifted. The measure was approved this afternoon in a 219 to 213 vote. 2 Republicans joined all Democrats in opposing the measure. Bitches. Anyway, Republicans said the bill, the Secure the Border Act of 2023, would address a crisis at the border, mandating that Customs and Border Protection hire and train 22,000 Border Patrol agents. Hold on a second. Weren't they just... No, it wasn't Border Patrol agents. They were hiring 47,000 new IRS agents.
Correct.
Anyway, so 22,000 Border Patrol agents, which I've been seeing all kinds of things trying to get me to apply to be a border agent. And I'm just like, I don't
No
know.
hablo español.
Yeah, right? Exactly, 0. Okay,
I'll be honest, I couldn't do that job.
Heck no. They plan on upgrading existing technology, which, I mean, let's get it done. And then the legislation would also require Homeland Security Secretary to resume construction of the border wall, a centerpiece of a former Donald Trump's administration.
Now this passed the House.
The bill is unlikely to become law because
Yeah.
I can guarantee you Democrats are gonna filibuster it.
Well,
Is that
now
correct?
what I would suggest to Republicans is they put
Or the president could veto it.
here's what I would Kevin McCarthy. Listen, okay? No, listen. If you want to actually pass that bill, you have to put an amnesty provision in there. Here's why: because the Democrats are going to vote your bill down, but when they do, you can say they voted against amnesty, because you know they will. And if they don't, you get your bill passed, and you just allow people that are already here to stay here.
We're average intelligence, Jake. What is amnesty?
Oh, right. Ooga booga. I don't know. Apparently, I love how everybody says this joke and they think they're the first ones to do it. It's like, more like below average intelligence.
Oh my god!
Listen,
I'm like, you don't think we've been saying that our entire lives?
you clearly never watched the show. We're fucking idiots. Listen.
It's a chip
There's
for
a
a reason.
Like,
We just listen. Like, if you're gonna come up with insults, let's do some homework first and make them interesting. Because the thing is, I enjoy trying to come back with either insults or something insightful.
Some people have actually had pretty good zingers, and I'm just like, well, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, and I will laugh at it. I will do my best to come back with something. If I don't think it's good enough, I just won't respond. Yeah. I may dislike it.
But the one thing I am proud of is we've never... Well, no, I take that back. I have deleted a handful of comments, but it wasn't about us. It's when they were talking really just...
About sex?
No, Ben.
Where they're like, oh, yeah.
No, that I won't tolerate.
Yeah, don't defame the dead.
Don't. Oh, you said defame. I thought you said defend. I was like, no, I absolutely will defend the dead.
They can't defend themselves, so...
No, I just straight up said fuck you, and then I deleted their comments because I'm not even gonna entertain that.
Which, by the way, the new logo, I love it. Down the middle.
Down the middle's logo. Yeah, that was.
I liked how you added Ben.
That was always the plan. I just didn't have because the person I had do our graphics before is no longer doing them, so I had to reach out to somebody else. But that was always the plan. I always wanted Ben to be included in the new logo.
You didn't do it yourself?
No.
Oh, could have.
If I could have drawn a cartoon
But the one
version,
they did, it's good.
Yep, it was very good. I was very pleased with it. Although it was funny because Brian, in that photo, the Brian avatar shirt was white, and he was like, I showed it to him, and he's like, I like it, but can we change the shirt color? And I was like, oh yeah, we can. Because then I saw it, I was like, you look just like Peter Griffin.
Oh my gosh. Damn it.
You look just like Peter Griffin. But yeah, I did feel bad that Brian wasn't included in that for a while. But we busy, and I didn't have a graphics. I tried to do it myself, and it was just pitiful.
It's not easy.
It was pitiful. It was absolutely
Canva's
pitiful.
awesome.
Canva's awesome, but it does have some limitations. So
it's great for thumbnails.
It's awesome for thumbnails. I can't. Well, so fun fact about Canva is if you import a PDF into it, you can manipulate it like a Photoshop document. I did not know that. I found that out by accident when I was making the short and graphic for when I had the band again on my podcast.
Yeah. You had them on again?
No. That's the band name.
Oh.
We're real close to who's on first.
No, that's funny. I don't care who you say you are. Yeah. And if you haven't checked out the band that he's talking about, they are the band again on Spotify and
Apple Music,
YouTube. Yeah.
I'm telling you,
they got some pretty good stuff.
I'm legit like feeling kamikaze during my workouts.
And I'm feeling good.
It helps me get that last squat.
Something like that.
Something.
Yeah, he gets that last squat because something's in the way.
Yeah, my fucking legs.
My nuts.
Speaking of nuts, dude, I totally racked myself in Krav Maga last night. Racked myself.
I do it all the time.
I did a knee strike, but I pulled him down too far, and the corner of the pad went right to my dick.
Why does he keep hitting me in the dick?
I just went up for that knee, and it just went, fuck. But I had to keep throwing them, so I was just like, fuck.
He's like, dude, I am incapacitated if I get hit in the nuts. Like, it's a one-shot stun and done.
Oof, no, it was, it's smarter this minute. My knee strikes after that were noticeably lighter and slower. Because I didn't want to repeat the...
He did not want his balls smashed again. They call me the Nutcracker 3000. Why is that?
Why do they call you Cockknocker? It's actually a really funny story about that. True story. It was Mark Hamill, and that was hilarious.
Yeah, that was back when he was cool.
Mark Hamill's still cool.
No.
What's wrong with Mark Hamill?
He's insanely lib.
Mark Hamill?
You know, there's some things. I won't ruin your evening.
No, but he's the Joker.
He likes children.
What? Seriously?
No, I'm joking.
Oh.
I'm joking. There's nothing bad about Mark Hamill.
Don't fuck with me. He's one of the few.
He's the few, the proud, the brave.
The normal.
The pedos. Just kidding. He's not.
No, he's... Dude, don't do that to me. We can't lose we can't lose Luke. We've already lost him in Star Wars. We can't lose him in the zeitgeist. Is that
like
a spider? Or is that like dust?
where?
Right there. Oh, it is a spider. He's just hanging in the air.
I don't know what spot it is. I don't like them very much, precious. Don't do that.
No, it might get him to go up.
Hey, get the fuck out.
Blow on him.
No. No!
Is he going up or down? Oh, he's not going anywhere.
Dude, this is just like that. Fuck you, dude. This is just like that fucking video of that guy who's in his office and the squirrel comes flying in. He's like, ah! He's got the bat. Dude, fuck you. Get out of here.
I think.
Ow!
He's going.
Where you going, dude?
He doesn't know where he is.
I really don't want to kill you because you take care of flies.
Nah, he's gonna am spray.
I want to make sure I know where you're at all times, bro.
Oh, that one can't even bite you if it wanted to.
I don't care.
Yeah, see, he's gonna.
It's a creepy crawling. Let's get the fuck out of here.
He's gonna
on my fucking legs.
No.
Now I'm fucking seeing shit.
He's gonna am spray.
We spent a lot of time. Where'd he go?
Stoner Bros. Did they pass the? Oh,
The House did.
That's not
It most likely will die
in the Senate.
in this fucking Democrat Senate lead.
That's what I'm telling you. They should put an amnesty provision in there.
You think it would help?
I know it would help. Well, because here's the thing: it'll either help get it passed, or it'll help them in 2024. Because then they can, like, I'm sorry, like, you want to take the Latino vote?
So what's amnesty?
Well, there's amnesty would essentially be like if you're here in the my version of amnesty. If it were up to me, I would basically say if you're
here,
if you're currently here and you were in the country as of this date, then you are granted amnesty. You are here legally. You will be given whatever the appropriate documentation will be, and you will be put on a path to citizenship if you so choose. Now, if you are on some kind of visa after that fact, that visa can and will expire, in which case the new laws would apply. So we highly recommend you get on that path of citizenship, because as a consequence of that amnesty going through, the rules will be enforced hardcore.
you know, every town you see, if they've got factories in there, how many of them do you see sign-on bonuses and
Tons.
trying to get people?
Tons.
So listen, like,
We need immigrant labor.
like, yeah, because for some reason,
Americans are lazy as fuck.
Americans won't work in I'm one of them. I won't work in a factory ever. But the thing is, like, there, when I first started working, there were plenty of people who worked in these factories, and it was actually hard to get on there because they made some of them made such good money, and they just kept their jobs. But nowadays, that's Fugazi.
Listen, if this sounds racist as fuck, but it's true. If I want a roof put on, I'm not hiring no fucking white guys.
No.
It'll take them for fucking ever, and it's probably not going to be as good.
I will say, though, and this sounds extremely bad, but it happened to me with 2 different crews. I'm just going to say this. I worked for a construction company. I did have to check my materials. Hey, listen, I ain't hating on it, but just know, I know. I had this one guy try to take flashing. He took a whole roll of it, and it was $80 for just one of these bundles. And I was like, hey, that flashing in the truck, that needs to be out here. And I grabbed it and put it up. I was like, motherfucker. And like I said, you know, flashing is one of those things. If it's up there and they take it off and it looks good, you can probably just leave it.
Well, and I mean, I can speak to it personally because I have a part-time employee who he is here legally, but he was an asylee, or I guess he is an asylee, but he came here because he was seeking asylum from Venezuela, and he came in the right way. Now, when he first got here, it was super fucked up because essentially what they said was like, well, we know you're here, but technically you're not here legally, but you're kind of in this weird limbo thing. And I'm like, what exactly? Because like at the time he couldn't legally work, right? It's like, by the time we got him, he was fine. But it's like, he's got a family. How the fuck, like, you're telling people they have to break the law because you just can't be bothered to figure out what the fuck the standard is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody learn Spanish.
Okay.
Actually, like, legit, if you speak, there are certain places you can go, and I'm not going to tell you where these places are. There are certain places you can go where if you do speak Spanish, you can and might get better pricing or preferential treatment, or maybe not preferential treatment, but you'll get taken care of. I've been out a couple of times, and
So they don't have to like guess and try to language barrier.
No, it's more of just, yeah, it's more of a respect thing. Because I've been to places where, like, the people that were with me drank alcohol, and they'd get the double shot, if you know what I'm saying.
¿Cómo estás, el joto?
El joto.
Yeah, I think it's like asshole or something, or dickhead.
No.
What is el joto?
I don't know what el joto is.
What? How do you say asshole or jerk or dick or something like that?
Cabron.
What's cabron?
Literally, it's like jackass.
Cabron?
Cabron.
Cabron?
Cabron.
Cabron.
Or burro, but burro is a literal
Is
donkey.
it burro?
Burro.
Burro?
Like burrito.
Burrito?
Actually, so burrito is technically, if you literally translate it, it's little ass.
I love little asses.
I mean, technically, that's...
I shouldn't have said that. Little asses?
That's literally what it means.
Burrito?
Because a donkey is burro.
Burrito, little ass. That's fucking funny.
That's literally, that's not what it is, but... Oh, so that's a really funny story. So when I was in Mexico, we went to this little taqueria that was down the street. And that's another great thing about Mexico, is everybody will just kind of look at each other randomly at some point in the day, and it's like...
You want to start drinking?
Well, there is that. But then there'll also be like, you just want to go get some tacos? And then, like, they're fucking everywhere, so you can find them on the street or anyway. But anyway.
I want some birria tacos. Beef. Not goat.
They had their menu written on the wall, right? And I'm looking at it, and I see down in the corner, gringas on the menu. And I was just like, what the fuck is that? And they're like, what the fuck is it? And they asked the guy. It's a kind of sandwich, but I was like, they're fucking selling white chicks up in here. I was like, that's a little suspect.
They got Becky's. They've got
Savannah's and Lawrence.
Oh my gosh, that's fucked up.
Oh, it was funny as hell because I was like,
Gringos.
I was like, what the fuck is that?
It's not get him to the no. Was it get the gringo?
Get the gringo with Mel Gibson.
It's yeah. Get the gringo. That's what they say when someone orders the gringos. Get the gringo.
Get the gringo. No, it was fun, and I highly recommend everybody, not necessarily Mexico, but I think every American should experience a fish out of water, and Europe doesn't count. Go somewhere where you don't look like anybody else and you don't speak the language like everybody else. It's an eye-opening experience, and it gives you some perspective on what it must be like to come here.
So
like Japan, China, somewhere.
Deep in the rainforest?
I recommend not to go deep in the rainforest, but the surrounding towns are probably okay.
Dude, like, people that live near the rainforest or in the rainforest are, like, something else.
Yeah, they're totally...
Because, like, one wrong pee, and they've got parasites killing them.
One wrong term, you got a jaguar gnawing on your head.
Dude, I was watching this video today, and this couple was arguing on a lion safari. And the woman got out and got dragged off by a fucking tiger. And, like, she didn't get killed. But I'm just like, are you really that dumb? You're in a fucking safari.
I watched a video the other day. This is way
They say not to get out of the car.
Well, no. I watched a video the other day of some dumb... And I don't mean this in a derogatory fashion. There's just literally no other way I can accurately describe these idiots. 3 dumb bitches were in inner tubes in the fucking Everglades. You may as well strap a stake to your fucking chest and say, eat me. And then one of them, there was an alligator on a log, and one of these dumb idiots fucking hits the log with her inner tube, and then the alligator starts hissing at her, and then she's freaking out, and she just freezes. doesn't move, doesn't attempt to get away, doesn't do anything, and they're yelling, they're screaming at it.
That shit right there.
Well, here's the thing, though. The alligator on the log isn't the one you need to worry about. It's not the one you can see.
It's the one you can't see.
It's the one that's underneath your ass about ready to chomp when it feels like it. And it's just, I was talking to somebody about this today. Like, these fucking morons, I can understand being a tourist to a certain extent, although I can't fathom how you would be dumb enough to jump into cloudy water like in Australia, where they have 18-foot long crocodiles. But there are people that live in fucking Australia that get attacked by crocodiles. Water. 18-foot killing machine in the water.
Stay away from the killing machine.
It's like, what the fuck?
See that one guy, his friend was swimming in a river, and I'm assuming there was like a tree with a rope.
Yep.
And he literally like fucking...
He elbow dropped?
Yeah, he elbow dropped the fucking gator. I don't know if it was fake or not.
No,
like,
I think that
if that was real, I was like, that dude deserves like the best friend year award, if there is one.
I mean...
There is one now, and he won it.
Yeah?
We hereby nominate you.
I assume they were okay because everybody's been like adding like, his name is John Cena. I was like, God damn. Jesus Christ, their friend was a fucking moron because it's like, how slow can you get out of the fucking water?
How slow can you go?
Like, I guess I'll get out. Oh, there's a gator.
That one video of fucking John Cena. Well, it was the guy was like, oh, I'm gonna ride without my lights on at night. And then when he turns it back on and it screams, John Cena! That shit scared the fuck out of me. That was probably one of the best ones. Except for the ones back in the day, remember when we were kids?
Which ones?
Remember the one where, like, the scary faces would pop up?
Yeah.
I remember one time
some
my
of those
stepdad fell out of his fucking computer
Some of
chair.
those are getting me. Most of the time they don't get me, but some of them get me good.
And you're just like, they're like, ah! And you're like, ah! Goddamn!
I threw my phone and one of them, ah!
Dude,
I was like, okay,
all those
good.
motherfucking videos where it's like something's happening and a baseball like flies towards
That's
your face.
the
You're
one.
like, oh god damn!
That's the one that made me throw my phone. You just reminded me.
Because
No, it got me so good because it was one of those optical illusion ones. It's like stare at this dot, right? And it's like almost there, and then boom. It's like fuck.
And now, if that wasn't the worst we have to worry about, now there are people making videos where it's like, oh, you gotta get real close and look like this, and all of a sudden it's like a dude walking by in a thong or like two dudes kissing, and it's like, I mean,
Yeah,
it doesn't like make me sick or anything like that, but it's just like something you just don't want to see.
Yeah, because you didn't send me one of those today. Proof that the moon isn't
Because
real.
I had to see it. Yeah, I know, right? It said the proof that the moon isn't real. And then it's just two dudes.
I rolled
making
my
out.
eyes twice in that video. Once at the beginning and once at the end.
Dude, I keep seeing people talk about fucking flat Earth, so I don't want to hear it.
Man, that just... I just want to go back to Mexico.
I would like to go to Mexico, but I would like to go somebody who's been there and is seasoned.
The best place to go in Mexico is, like, well, not necessarily geographically, but if you can go somewhere with locals and, like, go to where their family is from, that's what I recommend.
Because that's the safest spots?
It's not that it's the safest. Like, there are resort towns, but it's a way to experience, like, real Mexico without being stupid.
Authentic.
Yeah.
Authenticity.
Authenticity. Although I hear good things about Puerto Vallarta, but I've not been there, so.
I've never been to Mexico.
But yeah.
But I have eaten a burrito.
Like, you couldn't pay me to go to Sinaloa, but...
I've eaten a little ass.
Actually, don't quote me. Actually, I don't...
Hey Siri! Hey Siri! Are you cereal?
Cereal. I might be making a
Hey
false
Siri,
comment.
what does burrito mean in Spanish?
In Spanish, burrito is burrito.
Yeah, because that's what it means, huh?
Okay.
Hey Siri, what does burrito
Okay, no, I'm
mean?
right. I'm right.
Burrito means a Mexican dish consisting of a tortilla rolled around a filling,
It says,
typically of beans or ground or shredded
hold on,
beef.
down at the bottom.
Oh no.
The
I got
origin is Latin American Spanish diminutive. I've never seen that diminutive of Spanish burro, literal donkey. Because
Possibly derives from the tendency for burritos to contain a lot of different things, similar to how a donkey would be able to carry a large burden. Or it makes your ass explode.
your little ass.
It's little.
All right, let's wrap this up. It's 1:20.
Let's wrap it up like a burrito.
Burrito. And if you're curious while we're wrapping up, it's to be safe. No, we actually have a premium podcast we are going to film after this one.
Yes, which you can see
Yes.
exclusively and only
The Acropolis News Network.
theacropolisnews.com,
There you
where
go.
you can check out all of our regular episodes, plus all of the premium episodes for a small fee. Get your news, get your freedom and news all in one place. But if you prefer to be a cheap fuck, you can continue watching us and our free episodes on YouTube and Rumble and the audio platforms, including but not limited to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. There's more, but they escape me. Google Podcasts. There's more, but they escape me. Or you can check out the audio podcasts of all the podcasts on our little network on artemedia.org, and there will be some updates for new shows coming very, very soon.
And
From not us.
new people. Just wait.
So I'm saying not us.
Just wait.
Just wait. You gotta wait. But you won't have to pay.
Buttercream toast with cinnamon sugar.
Toastios. Actually, that's the goal with his. Is we want to eventually get it to where he has his own cereal.
Oh, dude, we can make that happen.
I'm
And
looking
you know what?
I'm looking
We can
into
sell
it.
it.
I'm looking into it.
Just like Jeremy's chocolate.
Yeah, fuck if Jeremy can do it.
And that chocolate was
That
garbage.
chocolate was ass, bro.
All right, people, that has been well, actually, you didn't even lead it all the way out.
Yeah, I did.
Did you? Okay. Well, I was just kidding, people. Good night.